Hello, 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 folks. Let's see. Can you see me? This is the exciting thing. Let's see what's happening. So, folks, if I am here, I'm so glad to be here. So, you can see me. Okay, that's good. You can hear me. You can see me. You're not just seeing a strange OBS logo. Thank you, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, this will be a very interesting stream today because I can't see myself. So, I'm going to be trusting you to give me feedback as we go. Here we go. How strange and fabulous. Okay, one more question. I'm going to change cameras. Let's see if you can see this. Okay. Can you see that, everyone? Can you see the camera change? I am seeing, that's lovely, but can you see the camera change? Did the angle, are you seeing the tabletop now? I love how everyone has turned into my tech crew all of a sudden. This is amazing. This is community. So yes, you can see the camera. Fantastic. Oh, hello everyone. So hello. Let's see, I have to go back to the beginning to say hi to everyone. So fantastic. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Shelley. Hello, Diana. Hi, Momo. And then there's me commenting desperately. And Wendy and Helene, hello. Oh, fabulous. And Shelley again. Joanna, welcome, Joanna. Everyone, thank you so much for helping me out, letting me know that I can be seen. And Nicole, hello, Nicole. Excellent. And we are seeing the top. Excellent. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to switch back for a moment just to officially say hi with my big face. So it's so good to be here. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me on this, what in Oshawa, anyways, is a beautiful, beautiful sunny afternoon. Folks, you could be a lot of different places. Well, not a lot of different places. You could be outside, and yet you're spending some time with me today. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much. Oh, and my beautiful mug. Yep, this is my favorite, one of my favorite mugs. This was given to me as a gift, I think, by one of my placement students, Juliana. And it says, "The earth without art is just eh, eh." Yeah, that's kind of what I believe too. Mm-mm-mm. So what an exciting day, at least for me. Thank you all for adjusting and going with the new time. We had some mobile art studio visitations this morning. So I was out and about looking at some vehicles that can become our mobile art studio. And folks, I think we found, knock on wood, I think we found the one. It's very exciting. My head is a bit exploding right now. I definitely need to do some art to calm down and ground myself and just be present in this moment so I can appreciate it. But yeah, it's so far it's looking, it's exciting. There's lots of potential and possibility in the air. So I can't wait to see what happens next, and I'll keep you informed. And again, always checking in with everyone to see how you're doing. Shelley says, stuck inside and construction going on. So noisy in the building and outside too. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hard, Shelley. I'm so sorry about that. Are you close to a park maybe that you could go to? I know we had one of our workshops yesterday for the Oshawa Listening to Our Neighbors project, and parks, the community parks, were at the top of the list as of things that people appreciated and could not do it without in their community. And I think the last year has influenced that a lot for folks. I think we've all realized just how much we appreciate nature. I know, and thank you. Yeah, the mobile art studio is like, we're still on our way. There's still a lot to be done before we can get out there in the community again. And definitely some repairs and things on this vehicle. It is a pre-loved vehicle. But yeah, we're super excited. It's a whole other art project, isn't it? It's a whole other art project. So yeah. So folks, on that off, hello Amanda, welcome. If you're out there and you're listening and making art with us, that's fantastic. But you know what? take care of yourself today, because there is a lot of interesting stuff going on, out there in the world, a lot of intense things going on in our own communities. Take care of yourself. If you want to stay the whole hour and a half, you are welcome to. I'm going to be here, so you're welcome to hang out with me. But if you also need to go, go for a walk or take a break for yourself, or to open a window or grab a bite to eat or make yourself a cup of tea, please feel free to do that as well. You can always come back and revisit the live stream once it's over and been archived to catch up on anything you missed and join in on that creativity then too. So please take care of yourselves out there. Do what feels right for you. And of course, we're encouraging everyone, just like as in, the actual studio space, to be supportive of one another, including being supportive to yourself. If your inner critic is being really loud today, just let us know. We'll talk to it. We'll see what it wants. If it has nothing constructive to say, we can crunch it up and throw it out the window. We can, delete it, I think, as someone suggested, now that our art hive is virtual. There's so many things we can do to dialogue with that voice that's sometimes pretty hard on us, but you don't have to just stay in that place all on your own without any support. So reach out if you do need some. And of course, the safety space thing too, that support goes a long way in that. But if you need to, if anything happens, or if I say something or do something that makes you feel strange, if there's anything out there in the community that's a part of the live stream that's making you feel weird or just not good, please feel free to let me know, either in the live stream, but you can also send me a message or an email. Emails are really good. I always get the emails, although I can't always respond right away, to let me know so that we can have a conversation about how we can make this virtual space more supportive and engaging for everyone that wants to be a part of it. Okay, so let's see. Let's get to some art making. I think I do need to ground myself. So I'll switch back over here. Let's do... Oh, have I always been in this camera? Maybe I have. It looks like I'm still here. So if I'm still on the table down, I'll press that just to make sure. Yep. All right, let's do it. The quirks of not being able to see yourself while you stream. So I think I'm going to revisit the old Linda Berry spiral, something that always helps me feel grounded. So feel free to join along if you like. Just grab yourself a marker or a pen, a piece of paper, whatever you happen to have in hand. Old recycled pieces of paper work just as well. Things you're going to throw out, unless you want to repurpose it into another work of art. And I'm just going to start in the center and slowly spiral out and around. And just being mindful as I can be, breathing, trying just to let it happen, not to force it too much, allow what needs to happen, and just let the spiral do its work. But as I'm doing this spiral, you are welcome to let me know what you're working on or what you feel like working on. Maybe some projects that you recently completed and are proud of. So let me slow that down even more. And Shelley's saying, had that happen and it has been taken care of politely and respectfully. Oh, as far as letting us, well, that's, good to know, Shelley. As far as advocating for ourselves is not always an easy thing. I know that, and everyone out there knows that. And just like in the studio, we find that people don't mean to cause offense. I'd say 99% of the time. There's always every once in a while you meet a troublemaker out there who is in pain, and maybe because they're in pain, accidentally or consciously even puts their pain on someone else. But usually we don't want to be jerks. We don't want that. And we don't always know when we've made someone feel uncomfortable. And that's creative humaning, isn't it? Learning how to be the human we want to be, learning how to grow, how to talk, how to dialogue with one another and ourselves so that we can become the versions of ourselves we want to be. Always learning, always growing. That's what I find anyways. And if I stop learning, if I stop growing, then I don't know. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that, to tell you the truth. So slowly spiraling. And Nicole just saying, just finished making a tiny crocheted spider last night. Nicole, your crocheted work is so extraordinary. Again, I'm constantly inspired, I'm always being inspired by what this creative community does, how we do it, what we create, where we create it, when we create it sometimes. Oh, all this information I'm getting about where I'm at right now from this spiral. Every spiral is completely unique and is entirely reflective of where my mind is, where my body's at. I don't think I'll ever tire of doing these. I know it's such a simple thing, but I find it so relaxing. And I think I also appreciate how it starts off small, and as it grows, my whole arm can get involved, my whole body. I become aware of its movements, of how it places itself, how it's not placing itself. Let's see. And Joanna. Hello, Joanna. Oh, and Diana, too. People are chatting. All right. Keep on top of it. Can I do both? Can I do both? So Diana just finished putting together your website this past week. Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. That can be quite a daunting task to get something like that in order. I know the living room, we're in the process of having to revamp our website just to update where we're at. But now you're doing some art, nail art, with some spring flowers in it. Fantastic. Spring, at least here, it feels like it is actually for realsies here. Which is such a beautiful thing. I know up north it may not be the case, or out west or out east. But you know what? I'm just going to count my blessings. And Joanna decided, oh no, just curious, so Joanna mentioned someone who influenced the making of the spiral. Ah, yes, I call this the Linda Berry spiral. Linda Berry is an artist, a teacher, a philosopher. I'm a bit of a fan. An American cartoonist, an illustrator, essentially. Once you're familiar with Linda Berry's style, you can't miss it. But their approach to creativity and the processes of making art is just so delightful and profound and joyous. And you know what? Maybe in the show and tell post after this, I'll post one of my favorite interviews by her was done for Q for CBC, and just like an artist who never fails to inspire me. And they have several published books too that are all about that creative process and letting yourself make from where you're at, finding your own true, whatever true looks like in the moment, your own voice, your own creative path, rather than trying to replicate someone else's creative voice and style and things like that. One of the activities she does with her students, she has an art class that, as far as I understand it, at least this class, is not for people pursuing the arts. In fact, she encourages people to take the class that do not consider themselves artists. And and when they come into the course, she assigns everyone with kind of nicknames or code names, so no one knows their actual names. So it provides this kind of safety, this permission to create this anonymity. And when, especially I suppose for the students, it just lets them do whatever they want to do without fear of judgment, in the same way as if you were in a proper class and overlooking everyone's shoulder to see what your colleagues were doing. And it is a proper class, absolutely. But one of her favorite activities that she shares in one of her books, I can't remember the name of the book now. Oh, that's going to bother me, is folding a paper into four and drawing Batman 4 ways. Drawing Batman, a familiar character to many of us, in 4 different ways. I think one of the ways he's yelling, one of the ways he's throwing up. It's silly and kind of liberating all at the same time to just find yourself in that place where you're showing the world what Batman looks like to you doing those things. we may never see the character of Batman illustrated in those ways. So it gives us a chance to just let go and enjoy the process. Yeah, Linda Barry, Lyndabarry. Fantastic artist. If someone out there is listening, yes, see, Helene knows Linda Barry. Hello, Prin, welcome. If you want to put a link to one of your favorite Linda Barry things in the chat here, feel free. And that way we can share the Linda Barry love. And one day I do hope, one day I would love to take one of her courses. There are some that have gone online since the pandemic has begun, which has been really fun to participate in. And Nicole's saying, oh, Nicole decided to do embroidery for the first time in a long time last week. You combined it with Zentangle for fun. Zentangle embroidery, I love it. Oh, Nicole, you know I want to see that when it's done. And Simone saying, I've never tried Zentangle. I've just looked it up. Seems relaxing. Yeah, and similar to the spiral, I suppose. You're focusing just on creating those lines within the shapes and allowing them to unfold rather than creating like a product or, you know, having that end goal in mind. Although people do use Zentangle as a part of their fine arts practice as well. But it's very mindful and quite relaxing. Sometimes people also call it Zen Doodle. Yeah, just I call it doodling. I think we've all done something like that in our lives at one point or another. We didn't have a name for it. It was just doodling. And making comics. Yes, thank you, Helene. So that's one of Linda Barry's excellent books. Or Syllabus, that's the one I was thinking about. Syllabus, which actually takes you through a course or an example of a course that she might do with her students. But to describe it as just that is a little unfair because the books are hand-drawn and hand-created and very much like a zine would be, and photocopied and put together. They're just fantastic works of art as they are as well. So definitely check it out. Oh, and Momo just Googled Linda Barry. Excellent. And no, the super long link is okay. It doesn't seem like a long link here. So that's good. Folks can click on it, learn about Linda Barry. Yep, love Linda Barry. And Simone's saying, hello. Hey, hello. Simone has been making resin coasters and you're obsessed in a healthy way with making them because there are so many wonderful possibilities and what you're learning about. I love how you're talking about grounding. Watching you make this spiral. Let's see if I can click on this. Oh, it's not letting me expand your... Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can expand on it. Watching you make this spiral is very relaxing. Reminds me of spirographing. I used to love spirographs. And we have a couple of sets at the studio. They're in storage right now, but maybe I'll visit and break them open and bring them back to do some work here. Maybe I'll do a bit of that. Yeah, I love spirographing. And Simone replying to Nicole, oh yeah, so Zentangle is out there. People are looking like they're going to give it a try. Fantastic. Now, what am I going to do today? I had some... Oh, and then, yeah, Prin is talking. Linda Barry. Prin, love her stuff. Thanks for the link, Momo. Never heard of her. What? Prin, you've never heard of Linda Barry? That's so surprising to me. Oh, you're in for such a treat. Such a treat. I love that. I love when, just that sharing of things we love and how something that maybe we know of and take for granted for someone else is a completely new thing. Folks, that could be a part of today. If there are artists that you find super inspiring, people you'd love to learn or that you appreciate and turn to in your creativity for inspiration, or just, folks you dig, why not share the links to their stuff in the chat? Maybe we can have a little adoration day and shine light on all the artists and makers and teachers and talkers, makers, creators, change makers who are doing some awesome stuff in our community. The global community, I should say. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. For folks who are discovering Linda Barry, again, maybe not everyone's aesthetic, but the intention behind that creativity, that energy, that kind of dynamic love of just everyone is an artist. There's no reason why, anyone should think they're not. It's just getting past that in our brains and discovering who we are and what we want to create and how we want to create. That's the journey, I guess. Oh, interesting. Nicole's saying never had a knack for the spirography. It never stayed on the tracks for me. I know, Nicole, I think we might be a little similar in that sense. I loved it, but I wasn't always patient enough to see it through properly. So, hey, maybe that's reason enough to go out and break the kits out and have another go. I also found, as I was sorting out more stuff, I found one of those paint spinning machines, kind of like a turntable, and you'd put the paper in the center and you'd drop paint on from above and it'll spiral out. So I'm thinking I might break out that machine too, so like maybe one day for a live stream and have some fun with that. And oh, this is good. So we have a lot of stuff in common, folks. Simone also has the same kind of problem sometimes with that. Requires a little patience to get the hang of the spiral. Yeah, all the little gears and things like that fitting into one another. What do we have here? Oh, I might need to go out and get some new paint. We shall see. Oh, that sounds okay. And Joanna saying, I adore the painter Wayne. Oh, excellent. So Wayne, now am I going to pronounce this properly? Maybe not. Is it a Thibaud or a Thibaud? Especially his paintings of cakes and bubblegum machines. That sounds amazing. And he is still painting at age 100, Joanna says. That is awesome. That's the kind of creative energy I hope I'll have. Yeah. Something, just never a reason to stop creating, unless you don't want to create. And birthday cakes and bubblegum gum machines. That's awesome. Okay. Well, let's just start. What do I have here? Got a bunch of paints. Again, I got to sort through my paints. I have a lot of yellows here. A lot of yellows. Let's see where it goes. Okay, T-Bow. All right. So yes, so excellent. So we'll have to check out Wayne T-Bow to learn more about him and the art he creates. Oh, Momo loves him too. Momo made a drawing of an ice cream cone inspired by him during art class. Wow, there you go. Right. Another reason why I love sharing who we appreciate, who we admire, because you never know when you're going to connect with that other person who also finds that person, that kind of inspiration, that excitement. And again, someone that I've never heard of before. So that is awesome. I think there could be. We've done one food-related live stream before when I painted the cookies. I had a lot of fun doing that, I have to say. Maybe I'll check out his work and then we'll see if there's an opportunity for more food art in live stream future, because that was really lovely and they were quite delicious. I enjoyed eating them too. So let's see what happens if I do that. So this paint's a little interesting. Oh, get off there, come on. Or maybe I should have kept you. That might have been a happy accident. So a while back, I created a lot of tissue paper. Yes, monoprinting, and hello, Laura. How are you? Now, folks, if you're watching, I can't see what I'm doing. For whatever reason, my monitor isn't showing me. So you're my guides. So if anything goes wonky in the live stream, please let me know, okay? But yes, monoprinting. I've been wanting to get back to monoprinting for a while. Not for anything special, again, just to create backgrounds, because I use a lot of them in the other artwork I do and mixed media stuff. And so, for example, yeah, just trying to find one over here. Tissue paper monoprinting, which is what I think I'm going to be working on today, just creating surfaces and different things that I use in art journaling or mixed media work to add different layers and different effects. A lot of the collage, they find their way into different kinds of collage projects that I do. And I went through the tissue paper monoprints that I was working on so quickly. Let's see what we can do here. And again, there are, if you're doing the monoprinting thing, whether using styrofoam or Maybe you have something like a jelly plate like this, like I'm lucky enough to have here, which is super fun to play with. You can get so many interesting effects out of it as well. There's lots of different ways you can monoprint, but yeah, one of the things I love doing with them is creating different papers, art papers that I can use in different projects. Let's see, maybe I'll add a little more yellow into here. And Laura, let's see. Oh, Nicole, wow. Oh, what is monoprinting? Hello, Courtney. So monoprinting, now let's see, I'm going to do my best to explain it, but there might be someone out there who has a more specific description. Monoprinting is when you lay paint on a surface and lay the paper over top so that you can peel off the paper, rather than in traditional printing methods where you'd create a plate or a design and put it through a press. This way, no, that doesn't make sense, does it? No. Okay, folks, help me out here because my brain has literally just gone boop and I can't remember how to explain this properly. So, okay, interesting. Monoprinting, you're creating a surface with paint. You can remove paint, you can lift paint, you can create different designs in the paint to get the effect you want. Whereas there is paint, that will adhere to the paper. Where there is no paint will go on to the paper. As opposed to like an etching or a lino cut where you roll paint onto the surface and that gets printed on paper. The paper gets printed onto this surface, and when you peel it away, whatever, it's like lifts off the paint. And you can do different things with it. You can layer it up. You can get all fancy as much as you like. But for the sake of this, let's see, I can remove some paint here. That's the simplest way I can think of describing it. But so there's got to be someone out there who has a much better, much more effective way of explaining it. And you can do it. I have a jelly plate here, but you can also do the same thing with styrofoam. Any softer surfaces are a little more forgiving to work with. This is like a big jelly plate, a plate of kind of wobbly, wibbly, rubbery like substance. You can also use styrofoam, like so those plates that you get when perhaps you're buying meat or mushrooms or things like that. You can use them in a similar way and carve things into them, and it'll have a monoprinting effect. And Nicole saying decorating cookies for Easter, and then I'm just catching up too. It sounds like some announcements have been made in Ontario. Okay, so Laura says, just digesting the news of the shutdown. Ugh, I'll be fine again. LOL, Laura says. Yeah. So when you say shutdown, I imagine that means that, it sounds like that might mean stay-at-home orders. Because in Ontario, I don't know about any other places, it's been very confusing trying to interpret what is meant by the various things we're supposed to be doing. Lockdown, shutdown, stay-at-homes. They've all changed meaning so many times, and it can be super frustrating. Absolutely. I'm just going to lay this. I put a stencil on top of that painted surface, and now I'm going to lay a piece of tissue paper or regular paper on top of that and smooth it out. And you can kind of see where the stencil is. It's blocking and masking the paint. So what I'm hoping to have here is just this kind of arrow-like, feather-like, grain-like image pull up when I release the paper. And tinfoil, yes, you can do tinfoil monoprinting. You can do that too. Let's see here. And Nicole's saying, I just tried sewing my black rose onto my canvas, but it didn't work too bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Let us know what didn't work about it, because we might be able to help you out. We might be able to troubleshoot the next one. So it's great about the tissue paper because it's so delicate. I'm just going to pull it off right away. And so that is one example of using the monoprint with a stencil. So you get that lovely painty surface. And let's see. And I'd like to try it with a tinfoil actually, Simone. I'd really like to try that. And I'm going to remove the stencil and actually use the stencil to stamp as well. So come. No, stay there. Again, it's an imprecise art form as far as it goes. You can get precise. I've seen some artists who who create extraordinary things with monoprinting using jelly plates as well. For me, I'm not gonna lie, it's, all the things I love. It's color, it's line, it's shape, it's texture. And especially during these times where I'm feeling uncertain and perhaps a little anxious and a little, caught up in everything. Those are times where I find it really helpful just to make things that I don't have to think about too much, things that I can turn into other things when I have a little more clarity in my creative vision. I don't punish myself, I don't judge myself for not knowing exactly what to do. I try to just allow myself to do whatever I feel like doing, even if sometimes it feels silly, right? And Courtney says, awesome, I understand, I think. I hope so. Like, it's the idea of watching it happen can sometimes be so much easier than describing it. But Momo says, I've done it, but I've never asked why it's called monoprinting. This is what Google says about it. Yay, Momo. Okay, although Momo doesn't 100% agree. The monoprint is a form of printmaking where the image can only be made once, unlike most printmaking, which allows for multiple multiple originals. I've printed mine a few times, although after the first time it gets printed, it gets very faded. That's true. So, you know what? That is the proper description, the definition of monoprinting. Each time you are printing, you're getting a one-of-a-kind print, and it won't be the same next time because of the way you're creating it, as opposed to using a lino cut or a stencil or something of that nature. Although in other prints, I'd say it's very possible everything, there's a one-of-a-kind nature to everything. When regardless of what you're printing, because you're right, every time you lift the color off, or every pass you take, if you're lucky enough to have a press out there. So here, I can hold these out and show you. Let's see, for folks who are unfamiliar. So this is the first one I did using the stencil. This is one with the stencil removed. And you can see a little bit of the texture in there, but it's lifting off most of the paint. And then this was the print I made just from the stencil. So you get three kinds of artsy loveliness there that you can use in other things. Now this is the problem I always have, because I always run out of room to place these while they dry. So it's tissue paper. So the lovely thing about working with the tissue paper is that it tends to dry pretty quickly. So I should be able to stack those up and it'll be okay. And yeah, Momo's, the printing, that's actually one of the things I love about monoprinting. I still have paint on here, so I'm just going to use that up. I love that every time you lift off your surface, it has a different story to tell. I love it. I really do. And I've seen one of my favorite activities. You know what? I should do it again. I did it early this pandemic, where you have different lists of different abstract, mono prints that you've done. And you can even do it with paper. You don't need anything fancy. And you look at let's say you did a series of 3, and you select one of those images that seems to tell a very clear story to you. And then you elaborate on it. So once it's dry, you'd go in with pencil, crayon, or markers, or paints, what have you, and just elaborate on the story that the shapes and the colors and the lines are suggesting to you. It's just such a beautiful example of trusting the process and, allowing. And sometimes that's all we can do is allow. And let's see. Okay. So Nicole, you had the same problem that I did with my canvas, actually, with sewing the rose on. Where is that? So I can relate to that. I ended up sewing on a much smaller piece. Let's see if I can show the result. So it sounds like when stitching things on canvas, sometimes you get thin frames on the canvas where it's just right around their edge, and so you have most of the canvas to work with. But it sounds like you, I had a really nice, good quality canvas frame, but it took up so much space. I could only embroider in a specific area. So I actually worked with that and used that to create an image that worked for me and the canvas. It's, you know, a little bit of structure, a little bit of limitation sometimes can be really just inspire another kind of inventiveness. So it worked in my case, but unfortunately with yours it didn't. I'm so sorry. Maybe another canvas in your future? Maybe. Or maybe you can, yeah, the glue, the fabric glue another day might work. I think that's a good place to go. To just try that out. And what am I going to do here? Let's get mixing. Oh, come on. I do love fabric chips. I'll do something with you another day. So here we are. Oh, I wore an apron not to get paint on me and I forgot about my sleeves. Classic Cronert. Oops. Hello there. So let's see what happens when I do this. And I just find this very relaxing. Oh, and sometimes it tears, yeah, if there's a little bit of paint, too much moisture with working the tissue paper. It will tear, but I don't mind this because in the end, I'll probably be using these. I'll probably be tearing them up anyways to use in my other projects. Come, come, come. And using this thin tissue paper is kind of fun because it's translucent. So when you lay it over the other tissue papers that you've, you know, painted on, that will in turn build up more color and more shape and more texture into what's been worked on. So let you sit there. No, sit there. Just no, you're stuck. Don't get stuck to me. There we go. Welcome to Mary Cronert talking to her art supplies. And just trying, not a whole lot left there, so I'm going to turn to my trusty, just roll off the extra paint from my roller on a blank piece here. Now let's see what happens if we go a little dark. Let's see. How much paint do I have in here? It can be a very strange time. I'm hoping everyone out there is okay. All right, some intense. Let's try that out. And again, I'm going to use that. I really do love this stencil, so I'm going to block it out again. Do I? Yeah, why not? And Nicole's saying, I bought the best gadget last year for embroidery. It's a floss bobbin winder that helps you separate embroidery floss onto bobbins. There's a lot less snags. That sounds like an excellent tool to have in the art studio. I definitely, there's a few things that are, well, no, there's a lot of things that are more frustrating than this, but you know, as far as art things go, when you're trying to stitch something and your floss gets tangled or separated or bunched up, oh yeah, that's an annoying moment. Definitely an annoying moment. Oh, there you go. Come back. The tissue paper's so light it just kind of floats away on me. Stay there, tissue paper. Hello, Carlos. Carlos saying, hope y'all are staying safe and well and have been able to get a bit of sunshine in whatever form that might be today. You know, that's why I'm so happy anyone is here at all, because it's such a lovely day outside, at least here in Oshawa. What's it like where other folks are at? What are you experiencing today? Is it the kind of day that makes you want to get outside? Is it the kind of experience that just makes you want to cuddle under a blanket with a cup of tea? Does it influence what you create? I haven't spent a whole lot of time examining how my creativity is influenced by the weather, or even by the seasons. So again, lovely. I love that kind of spidery effect. That'll look really nice overlaid another piece of tissue paper. Might even have kind of a stained glass window effect. Let's see. And folks saying hello. So Carlos, maybe you have something to contribute to this as well. Earlier in the live stream, we were talking about artists and creators who inspire us, who kind of like, we want other people to know about them. We want other people like to fall in love with as well. Do you have anyone like that you think, you know what, this artist needs to be known by everybody? They could be an artist, they could be a teacher, they could be a change maker. Doesn't have to be an artist in the traditional kind of Eurocentric view of things. I know sometimes we get caught up in the concepts of visual art being the one art, but there's so many different ways of creating out there. And oftentimes one kind of expressive modality for me will be influenced by another one. So, back to the weather. Prin says, sunny but cold here. Oh no. How are your seedlings doing, Prin? I've been planting out a few seedlings myself and inspired by all the UK gardening shows that I watch. Trying not to compare what I'm doing here with what's happening there, because your growing season is so much longer than ours. Let's see. A few more backgrounds. I'm going to add that black into it to see what happens. And maybe I will switch out and move to this stencil here. And I'm using some store-bought stencils, but folks, you can make your own. You can also just cut out shapes to use to block out the paint and mask those areas. But stencils are one of those things that, you know, you can keep an eye out there on all the different sharing economy spaces that exist in the world, whether it's Kijiji or, I don't know, Craigslist or things like that. This time of year, a lot of people are cleaning out their craft cupboards. I don't know why they do that, but this is a good time, you know, to score some interesting arts materials and like tools that you wouldn't necessarily be able to afford, or maybe sometimes even find these days. So it's always worth looking and investigating to see what other people are sharing and getting rid of. So another interesting surface. Where should I put this one? Okay, right there. Sometimes I forget that those sites even exist, and then I'm always amazed by what I find on them. Let's see. Using up that paint on that stencil. I might switch it up. Maybe I'll take one of these surfaces and make something different with it. And as Momo was saying, even the prints that are a little faded and not as clear, with the monoprinting purpose, and especially if you're making backgrounds or papers for other projects like I am, those are really beautiful ones to work with, because as you layer up the color, you get really interesting effects. And this is one of those things that if you tried to do, you wouldn't be able to do it. It kind of has to happen by accident. So making space for things like this, allowing space for the accidents, can be a really important part of the creative process. If we're only ever creating products or going for that end goal, we risk leaving no space for discoveries. So I suppose this is the equivalent of daydreaming for me. Creative daydreaming, art making daydreaming. Just letting things happen. Awesome. All right. And one more that is just blue. Let's see if I can do that. Darker kind of blue. Maybe some green. Haven't done anything green lately. Come on, come, paint. Paint. Gonna have a talk with you later on. Ah, there we go. Perfect. This will be black, blue, and green. Let's see what happens with this. Oh, I like that. So as the layers are pulled back on this, I'm wondering what colors are going to be revealed. Let's see. So we've had two great suggestions of creators to check out. So Linda Berry, for those of you who weren't familiar, and then, oh, what was the name? Thibaut, but what was the first name? Oh, I forgot, Joanna. Let's see. I'm just scrolling to see if I can find him. Well, in the chat. I'll find him afterwards. Artists to check out. Artists who inspire us. I'm not sure if they're still there, but there was a t-shirt company in the UK. I think they were called We Adore. And what they did was they simply made the whole premise of their business was making t-shirts inspired by people they adored. So many of them were artists, philosophers, politicians, change makers, not necessarily politicians in the classic sense, but people who were really, making creative change at the forefront, the growing edge of making a difference. And sometimes tools and things like that they'd highlight, and then these lovely t-shirts, just fascinating though, because you won't see subjects on t-shirts like that in any other place. I need some more tissue paper. Excellent. Here, I'll make one giant one and we'll see. Let's start with this. And I sometimes think that's one way, that we share what we love with the world, by how we dress, the t-shirts we choose to wear, the logos that we consciously or unconsciously take about town. I think I prefer to be conscious about what I'm sharing with the world as much as I possibly can be. But oh, nice. So the colors, so those blue and greens, it reminds Nicole of the Northern Lights. Lovely. Wayne Thibault. Thank you, Joanna. Wayne Thibault. Need to check him out. And, oh, interesting. So are we asking if, interesting that Wayne Thibault, did Wayne Thibault illustrate Roald Dahl books too? I don't know. We're going to have to find out, research who we adore, who do we adore, who do we appreciate. I'm going to double this. Let's see. Well, no, maybe I'll do that. Clean that paint off. So this color, these kind of colors remind me of pond life, looking into a pond. So I think layering those up something a little more exciting might be quite nice. So what do I want to do here? That's one, I said one more before, but now I really mean one more. You see how you can get caught up in this, and just as long as you have surfaces, as long as you have paint, just keep creating. It's just such a relaxing process. But I do actually want to create something, so maybe I'll create a little stencil while I'm at it. Do I want a stencil right now? Do I? Yeah, why not? Let's find some cardstock I can cut out. Oh, Quentin Blake illustrated. Yes. So, is Carlos suggesting Quentin Blake? So excellent. So Carlos. Okay, there we go. So thank you for clarifying. It's the influencer. So Carlos was sharing. I must not have seen that comment. So Quentin Blake, an excellent. Yeah. Some fascinating illustrations, quirky, also weird. I remember sometimes very dark. Nothing wrong with dark. Let's see what I can do here. Back to my wonky hearts. Excellent. Hello, Joe. Welcome, Joe. Let's see, we have that there. Let's do a little bit of masking and see where that takes us if I put this on top of this. Let's try it and see what happens. And Joe, for folks who are just joining, we've been talking about people who inspire us. Oh, love Calvin and Hobbes too from Prin. So again, artists or creators that we love, that we adore, that we turn to for inspiration. Oh yeah, you know what? Oh, I should put that back on. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to paint over top of that and let's see what happens. The people we adore, the artists, creators, makers that we turn to again and again. Perhaps it's also comfort. Perhaps this is leaning into a little bit of the comfort characters thing that Danielle, one of my placement students, was working on. Instead of comfort characters, it's comfort creators, maybe. And Joe saying, I made a beautiful new garden around my tree out front. Think I will call it the poet tree. Oh, wow. Yeah, I love that. The poet tree. And for folks who are interested, today's Wednesday. So tomorrow, Thursday, we have 2 workshops going on again. One will be wrapping up this round of spoken word writing workshops. And tomorrow's going to be a bit of a sharing day, I think. We're going to be sharing our poetry with one another. So you're welcome to bring, let me just peel that off. Bring along some of the work you've been working on as results of perhaps the challenges, the lovely creative challenges that Danielle set you. But if you have other work that you'd like to share, I know we have quite a few published writers in this group, which is amazing. I'm just going to use that excess paint to print off over here, almost like a stamp. So feel free to bring your work, bring your art, bring your heart, and we will have a day of sharing. And let's see. Oh, Nicole, lovely. So Nicole's saying one of my favorite artists is it Maja or Maya Vronska? She's a watercolor artist who paints buildings in funky colors. I've got to check her out as well. And Laura saying, oh yeah, Shel Silverstein's come up in the chat. Of course. Shel Silverstein, who for many of us, perhaps of a certain age, was someone who helped us see the world in a slightly different way. Opened and sparked really interesting conversations, dialogues inside our creative brains. Yeah. Just the concept alone of where the sidewalk ends. I remember my mind being blown by that thought, hearing those words put in that order, let alone the content of the poem, of the actual words. And Simone is saying, yes, looking forward to spoken word tomorrow. It's been years since you've performed. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to absorbing and learning and listening and appreciating the work that everyone's bringing. I know, as speaking for myself, I've still got, I'm still working on my piece, so I'm not sure what I'll share or how much I'll share, but I feel like it'll be okay to bring works in progress as well. So don't feel, folks, if you're out there and you want to come but you're intimidated, don't worry about it. It's such a friendly, great group of people, and I do hope that it continues. I really do hope that we find a way to keep that group going so that writers, spoken word folks have a place to go to share what they're working on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Simone. I'm really looking forward to it. I did a live stream over the weekend. Was it the weekend or was it Friday night? No, I can't remember. Last Friday night. That's on Instagram. It was with Cass Myers, and that was a powerful, powerful night of performing. It felt so strange being, I knew other people were watching and listening, but it felt like being an audience of one with this really powerful, powerful, powerful stuff coming at me. It was emotional. It was incredible. Such a privilege to be there and witness that. But you can still watch it too if you'd like to catch up on Cass's work. And Joe's saying there's an incredible musician named Lorena McKennett, a Celtic singer, pianist, and harpist. She has inspired me to write a lot of my poetry when I listen to her. I got to meet her, which was a dream come true. Really? Oh, I would love to have met Lorena McKennett. That is, yeah, Canadian as well, I believe. You got to shout out to the Canadians, right? Let's see what we can do here without muddying things too much. But hey, if things get a little muddy, that's okay. Just going to take off some of that excess on that sheet there. Let's see what happens. I love Lorena McKennett's work is extraordinary. Folks, if you're out there and you don't know Lorena McKennett, please do give it a go. Yeah, Celtic inspired, lots of, I guess, classically trained harpist. Is that how we would describe her as? But singing as well. I think there are a number of instruments that she plays, but quite an ethereal sound. Yeah, she worked at Stratford for years and years. So I think creating music for their productions there, I believe. Do I want to do this? Maybe I want to do this instead. Oh, now I'm torn. Yeah, okay, try this. These are the conversations I have in my creative head. Let's do this. Yeah, Lorena McKennett, powerful performer. And Laura says, I found that album Where the Sidewalk Ends. Oh, Em and I listened to it a few nights ago. Fantastic stuff. There's an album? Laura? And when you say you found that album, I'm assuming that in that magical way of how Laura finds treasures out there in the community, that you literally found it? At the side of the road, perhaps? I had no idea that there was an album of Silverstein poetry. Again, speaking of spoken word, I'm going to have to find that. Brilliant. Brilliant. There must be other versions out there. And Joe said, yes, Lorena McKennett, she lives near Stratford, so there's that connection. Oh, I'm running out of space. Come on, Mary. The risks of gelli printing. Running out of space. There are worse things. And Nicole says, okay, good, I'm not alone. Nicole talks to her projects all the time. Good to know. I feel there's something similar in talking to your art projects, like the same thing perhaps as talking to your house plants or any plants. I feel like something does happen when you talk back to your work in a positive way, or not even a positive way, just any way. So there wasn't a lot of paint on there. Let's try, I'm going to lay that over. I feel like similar things happen too. I think there's growth. dialogue, discovering new things. And there is a line of thought that, neurologically speaking, speaking out loud helps us remember things and hold on to information. So perhaps in those cases, what we're also doing is we're conjuring, we're figuring things out. So feel free, I'm giving, not that you need it, I'm not the boss of you, but feel free to continue talking to your art, folks, whenever you want to. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Let's add some more paint. And Nicole says on the topic of talking to your art projects. Oh, that's true. Since Nicole crochets lots of little characters, it does have the effect of you looking like you're talking to lots of little people. But you know what? Why not? Oh, interesting. So Lorena McKenna, not only a beautiful creator by the sounds of it, but also a fierce and fabulous business person. So Joe's just sharing, Lorena McKenna sent out a message stating that she has only released her music through her production company, thus preventing the big companies from taking the royalties. Wow. Yeah, she was majestical when I saw her. It was in an old church in London, Ontario. I can see that being just an incredible performance. One of those wonderful once-in-a-lifetime things. One of those things that I'm looking forward to exploring and experiencing again once we can. I don't think, I like to think anyways, I hope I never take a live performance for granted again. Oh, haha. No, I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to do this. I forgot to take off the heart. Oh, that happens. You forget to take off the heart. So I'll have to do that again. And yeah, favorite songs, Mummer's Dance is my favorite as well, from Lorena McKenna. This is, this time that we've had, collectively containing ourselves, distancing ourselves, considering things in new ways. I feel like there's something to that. I'm hoping each one of us in our own ways, coming out of this with a renewed appreciation for what we loved, perhaps discovering new things we didn't know about before, appreciating the artists that are out there, ourselves included, in everything we do, everything we contribute, not just the products we make, but I suppose one way of looking at it is emotional and intellectual labor that oftentimes goes unappreciated by ourselves as well as by others. We work so much and we give so much. And I'm hopeful that at the end, not the end, but every day, why wait? There'll just be opportunities to really reflect upon the roles we play and learning new ways of, appreciating people, letting them know we appreciate them as well. Because I think sometimes we take it for granted that people know we love what they do. That's not always the case, right? But let's see. Laura's saying, my cousin was selling his fire pits at the Curtis Flea Market, and his wife, my friend, said that the man across the way had a box. Oh, so this is for the Shel Silverstein thing. So we went to see. He said it was a thrift store. It was just thrift store stuff. And because I was still interested, I could have 5 for free. Oh my goodness. Laura. So see, this is the magic I'm talking about. Laura being in the right place at the right time. There's something magic. It's not just, I refuse to believe that it's just luck. No. There's something more to this. So Laura dug the Shel Silverstein Where the Sidewalk Ends album out, along with Jeff Beck, Lighthouse, and 2 Django Reinhardts. Oh, man. And Laura only had $5 left, but gave it to him. Lucky day for everyone, I'd say. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Again, thrift store finds. Another thing that I'll appreciate a lot more after this. Although it'll be interesting to see how our perceptions of used, things that are used changes. I wonder if folks will be a little more cautious. I was considering that the other day when I was was actually in the virtual art hive we were talking about just how art hives might change and how material sharing might change. If it might, will we go back to the communal bucketful of oil pastels? I think we'll all be thinking a little more clearly about what can be cleaned, what can be sanitized effectively, because not all things can be. But we'll see, one day at a time. But we can get creative in the meantime and work on imagining what we can do instead of what we may not be able to do. And he was going to donate it all? Laura. Oh my goodness. Yep. That luck, that amazing find. Laura is the person you want with you. If you're looking for something, put it out there into the universe and somehow Laura manages to find it or find something like it. All right. So again, these were surfaces I was going to create, but now I'm just creating these really whimsical, light, delicate tissue paper pieces of art. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I wonder what I'm going to do with these, folks. I wonder what I'm going to do with them. All right, lay that over there. Let's see if we can mask some others. And Joe said, Mary, I just want to say this. With this new announcement by the Premier now, the next month will be difficult for a lot of people. Please let anyone know if I can help in any way. I will. I was wondering if there was any type of way to make a donation of things to any people or drop off such things like items. Do you mean like art materials and things like that? If that makes sense. It does make sense, I think. And you know what? We can always connect after this because I've been meaning to get back to a message you sent anyways. There might be opportunities for that. I think there probably will be some people in the community. I haven't had a chance to actually go through and listen to the announcements to see how severe the stay-at-home order is. But I know there are folks out there who run out of things and always appreciate, that someone being able to drop something off to them. So folks, if you are out there and you're watching or listening, in the comments thread, you'll see that Joe has offered to be of support in any way that he can, I imagine, within reason. If there are art supplies or things you need, if there's, if you're looking for some kind of support, please, feel free to reach out. Let the whole community know because Joe's offering, but you never know. There might be someone who lives very close to you and you never knew. They might be able to just drop things off on your doorstep one afternoon. So again, don't be shy. If there's something that you need or something that you're looking forward to having that will help you take care of yourself during this time and create and maybe even stay connected with other people, let us know. There's also a number of other amazing groups, I think. Is there not an Oshawa? Oh, folks, help me out. I think there's a kind of group that is in a lot of places now. I think it went international. Is it the caregivers group or am I making that up? Caremongers. So I think there's these community run initiatives called Caremonger, and you might be able to look up, depending on where you are, to see if there's a local chapter close to you. And those groups as well have been designed to provide support and outreach care for folks who maybe might need some groceries dropped off, or who knows, maybe need some art supplies or some materials to help them, do what they need to do to have their best day. Joe's saying, I have puzzles I will donate to help someone. So if somebody's out there and you could really use a puzzle, I know I love letting myself get lost in a good puzzle. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And Laura's also saying Free Cycle, another great community site that I know is kind of in a lot of different places, maybe even a global initiative by this time. And you can always find really cool stuff on there. You may need to pick it up, but someone might also be willing to drop it off at a certain place for you. So all these amazing resources that are a part of the sharing economy, they're out there. And sometimes all you got to do is ask. When in doubt, ask. I'm going to have some more coffee. The asking is a really hard thing to do sometimes. And I'm not sure, there's a lot of reasons why it might be difficult for any of us to do. But I have to remind myself that the times that I've asked and allowed myself to accept have been extraordinary. And it's something that can make, not only, help kind of make your day better, but I think it feels good for people to be able to give, to be able to share as well. So there's this beautiful cyclical nature of that relationship. It's a reason why at the studio we had, what did I do with my little heart? Little heart, where did you go? Folks, I've lost my heart. Yep, have to make a new one. Well, we had a donation jug at the studio. I think, have I talked about this before? Maybe I have. But every once in a while, people, they wouldn't get upset with us. I think that was a bit extreme. But I think we're kind of fixed in this strange idea that there's only certain people who should help certain people. Those that have should help those that have not. And the truth is we can all help one another in one way or another. And to be able to know that you're giving back or that you're helping make a difference in someone else's day in any kind of way is such an important thing. It's so important for us to have those moments to realize, And so even though sometimes people would think less of us because we had that donation jug at the front of the studio, and they'd say, well, people who, what if people who have nothing or who have, live in poverty are putting loonies or toonies in there? They were putting loonies and toonies in there because if I didn't have that jug there, sometimes they would get really angry with me. And sometimes they try to give more. Human beings, as weird and as complex, as complicated as we are, we're pretty extraordinary at the end of the day. Pretty freaking extraordinary. So Joe, thank you for that. Thank you. And Nicole, Joe saying, me and Nicole just planted a bunch of sunflower seeds. Yes, which I will donate to people in need. Big sunshine, for people who need that big sunshine of those beautiful sunflowers. Well, I'm down. That's awesome. I have sunflower seeds, so I'm okay actually, because I had one that succeeded and survived the squirrels last year. So I saved all of those seeds. I'm just going to lift that off a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. And heart, I'll put you aside there so I don't lose you. But yeah, growing sunflowers can be such a joyous, joyous thing. Absolutely. How do I want to do this? Let's try that. A burst of color. Other flowers that I find really easy to grow too, marigolds. Surprisingly easy to grow, especially if you're someone like me who likes to think they have a green thumb but maybe doesn't. Marigolds are just delightful bursts of color. They're good for your, if you have a garden, they're good companion plants. You can grow them inside and they're lovely. They're pretty forgiving. All right. So another set. So many sets here. This is great. Oh, I wanted to do something with that. All right, let's figure it out. So might as well put that paint off of here. And folks, if you need to go, know that you can. Thanks everyone for being here. I started a little late today, so I'm going to stay on a little later. I'm going to change the shape of this heart too. Just to make the shape a little more dramatic. Let's do that, and let's go back. Have a little yellow. Let's see what we do. Let's see how this one looks. Yes, so I am staying on a little longer, a little later today in the live stream. So if you need to go do your thing, please feel free. Hello, Nikki. Wow, welcome. Oh, interesting. So Nikki has, it looks like Nikki has a request or is putting something out there. Okay, nice. That's lovely. So Nikki's looking for fold-up TV tray tables, sound like the wooden ones, and you paint them for seniors in nursing homes. Nikki, they sound amazing. And I know I'm familiar with, at least I've seen your art before. I'd love to know what some of these tables look like. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. And Nikki, I'm wondering, Free Cycle, like Laura was saying, might be a great place to go to find some of those tables. Especially times where people are cleaning up. What happens if I do this? Yeah, let's do that. Just that question too, like asking, right? Never, I think sometimes we're afraid to ask, we're nervous to ask. But you never know unless you ask. So some interesting pond colors. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, my hands are really gooey and I'm running out of space on my table. And Nikki's saying, I've never tried growing sunflowers. This may be the year. You know what? Go for it. I would recommend, I'm a bit biased, but I'd say plant 100 of them, at least 100, knowing that the squirrels will probably take care of half of those for you. But no, they're beautiful. And there's so many different, I could go on, so many different sizes. But the beautiful big tall ones, they're just these beautiful monsters that bring such joy and sunshiny color. And you know what? They're great for just because of that. You know, the squirrels might get them, but they're so great for the environment and all the different creatures in the neighborhoods that might appreciate, you know, having a snack on them. So I'm always, you know, encouraged more the better in my mind. And I've never tried growing them in containers. I wonder if that's something. Has anyone out there ever grown a sunflower in a container? Let me know if you have. And Joe's saying, oh, by the way, Mary, we had a little campfire in our backyard on the weekend. I imagined singing, oh, Kumbaya for a little while. You imagined it or did you? Joe, I can't see you I don't see you as a person who holds back. I don't see that. Okay. What do I want to do with these, folks? What do I want to do? I want to bring back, have something bright to finish this off. This is maybe messy. Maybe I should dry this off here. I imagine it's going to be an interesting time for the next few weeks for us and us folks in Ontario. But if you're out there and you're worried, you're anxious, reach out, talk to someone. You're not alone in anything that you're feeling. And there are plenty of wonderful resources that are out there to help, you know, just cases exactly like these. We've learned so much. We've learned so much since the beginning. And we know how to take care of ourselves. We have so many new ways of taking care of ourselves. Ways that perhaps at the beginning of this whole journey we didn't. We're so resourceful. We are so resilient. We've come so far. I'm not the boss of anybody except myself. But if I can encourage you to just remember that. Remember that you are incredibly resilient. You know so much more. We all know so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And that it's always okay to reach out and ask for help. Sometimes that's what being strong means. Let's see. Oh, excellent. Nikki says, convinced me. I'm going out and buying those sunflower seeds when I get my soil and grass seed. Yes! They're extraordinary. They are really quite beautiful. And welcome back, Shelley. And Helene's saying, thank you so much. Tried my hand at monoprinting with my new jelly plate today. Oh my goodness, Helene. There we go, right? I tried acrylic and gouache. Fun and versatile new technique for me. Serendipitous, exactly, that I do this. You know what, I remember, I'll be honest, when the jelly plate thing first came out, I was a bit like, oh, whatever. And then I tried it, and it's super fun. And this was a lovely, these sets that we have that were donated to the studio were actually given to us by a fabulous community creator out there, Daphne Vauxhall, who just is on top of every single new trend that comes our way. And then she goes through it, she appreciates it, and then she releases the materials out there into the community. And we were the lucky recipient of the materials in this case. And there's folks like that there, like out there, like Daphne, everywhere in every community. It's just checking in on, on those sites, sometimes on those sites, or reaching out and asking, just knowing where to ask. You never know who might be sharing their jelly plates with you. I think, that's one last thing I wanted to try too, and maybe I will, since you're working too, what I might do is, now that I've made some of these papers, I do have some fabrics that I've set aside here that I'd like to try printing on. So maybe that will be, maybe I'll wrap up today by doing some printing on fabric, because I've been meaning to try that for a long time now. What are you creating, Helene? If you want, you're welcome to share your jelly can I say this? Jelly plate print adventures. And the show and tell post on our Facebook page that we do after every live stream. I love seeing how different people use the same tools, because you never know. I'm imagining what you're creating probably looks a lot different than what I'm creating or working on today. It's always such an exciting thing to see what people do when given the same materials. All right. And do I have a little bit more tissue paper somewhere? I have some tin foil. This tin foil just fell out. Shall I just see what happens if I print on this? Let's see. Oh, excellent. And as far as the sunflowers and who they support, Joe's right. So squirrels, blue jays, cardinals, finches, goldfinches, so many wildlife creatures appreciate the sunflowers. And Niger seeds are the small black sunflowers that the small birds crave. That's good to know. I didn't know that, but I've grown some of those in the past. They're smaller. Are they also more like bunch sunflowers that grow like just closer in bush, almost bush-like, closer to the ground? You could have a whole garden of sunflowers, seriously. Oh, bus time. Bye, Laura. Laura says, thanks for everything. Going for some bus time. Laura, when you listen to that Shel Silverstein album, think of me. Interesting. Oh. Jelly printing on tinfoil. Well, that's a thing. Okay. And Joe saying, if you live near Curtis, let me know. I have seeds. I will donate if you need some seeds. So it's out there. Oh, wow. And Wendy's saying, hey, Joe, I could use some. Not going to a store just to get seeds. I know, right? It seems when we're only going out for essential things, it feels a little wasteful and a little, risky. We don't want to send the wrong messages, and we want to take care of ourselves. So perhaps if we can do these community drop-offs stealthily, like art ninja, caremonger ninja-like, we can do it. So Wendy and Joe will figure that out. Lovely sunflower seed sharing going on. And Joe, oh, Joe saying, by the way, Mary, who cleans up your mess? Barb always ends up cleaning mine when I cook. So that's I don't know if that's the kind of conversation we want to end today on. It seems like a dangerous conversation. I'm the messer, okay? I'm the messer in my house. I have to own up. At the studio, if you saw me at the studio on any given day, you know I'm a messer. Right? And usually I'm getting better at cleaning up after myself, absolutely. But no, I'm a big messer. Surprise. And I'm lucky. I have folks like in the studio, it's a lovely thing. We kind of take care of and clean up after one another sometimes, encouraging people to take care of themselves and clean up after themselves as well. Part of that process of loving and tending to your creative space, you show the studio love and care by being kind to it. So that's keeping your workspace clean or helping someone else who might struggle with that. you know, organizing things, sorting things when you can. When it comes to my own personal life in this studio, I have to remember that too. I may not be out there in the same way, in the same space that I shared with community before, but this is my studio at home, and the tidier I keep it, the happier I am, and that's a good feeling. But I love making a mess. I love a good mess. Yeah. And I have been a mess, personally, many times in a week. Dozens and dozens. So that's good. Some connection and some community creation happening. Sharing of resources, which you know is one of my favorite things. So clean off my roller one more time. And even cleaning off the roller. I love the paper that you clean the roller off on, because it becomes really lovely and colorful as well. And I'm going to wipe off, oh, maybe I won't. I say that, and then I realize I found some extra paper, so I'm going to just print this. Yes, I'm definitely a messer. Oh, phone? Why are you ringing? Oh, it's some bus people. You know what? I'll get back to you after. I appreciate you calling so much. There we go. We'll come back to you. Yes, indeed. Mobile Art Studio. Almost there. So many exciting projects, new possibilities. Things may not be the same, but they're changing. And, you know, change isn't always a bad thing. So after this is done, I'm going to give the jelly plate a really good wash. But for now, I'll just use this damp rag to wipe things down, just so I can get a fresh color palette on there. And if you are working on something out there, if you have projects that you'd like to share, maybe you're proud of something that you've been working on, feel free to snap a picture and put it in the show and tell post after the live stream. Usually goes up about 15 minutes after things end here, so probably, well, around 4 p.m. maybe, I'll put it up there. And that gives us a chance to just get a glimpse into one another's personal studios, to see what we're working on. You know, learn a little bit about one another's creative process. All right, so these are some pieces of fabric that I've been working on. I've been playing around with them, wanting to make a little fabric book. I don't know what the book will be yet. All I knew is I wanted it to be fabric. So I took all the scraps that I had and I started putting them together. Maybe what I will do now, are these all the same size, is I'm going to do a little monoprinting on the outside of whatever I choose the cover, whatever I want the cover to be. What do I want the cover to be? You know what, I think let's see, my last act of jelly print today, maybe I want that to be the cover. So I'll put those aside for now, but you'll probably see them return in another live stream. Just square that off a little bit. And where is that heart? Maybe I can pull out a smaller jelly plate to use in this activity. Where are you, jelly plates? Where did you go? I have a tiny one here that someone cut up. So maybe I'll make a new heart for this one. Making myself a new heart to wrap up this stream. Find a little bit of cardstock there, just to create a little mask. Much clutter. See, this is where it is. Yep. Oh, and lovely Joe saying, I'm just tasting my homemade yellow lentil soup I made while we had our time together today. Oh, how wonderful. And I appreciate that kind of creativity. I don't think I mentioned it today, but it's absolutely the case. Not all art is visual art. If you want to join in and listen, and you can contribute to the creativity in so many ways. It doesn't always have to be through the chat. It doesn't have to be through sharing. It's just contributing that energy, being a part of this community in one way or another, even if it's only for a few minutes here and there. Know that you're appreciated, that I value you being here. And if you're not feeling like making art in that kind of traditional way or getting crafty or any of those things, know that I value any kind of creative impulse you have. And that could be things like cooking, sewing, stitching, gardening. Maybe you just need to sit and have a good cry. I feel like all of that counts. Creative humaning. It all counts. All right. Okay, here we go. Oh, I might as well keep it on top of there. So what do I want to do here? Maybe a dark green. Do I have a dark green? Maybe make a dark green and blue. And keep it simple for today, but I would like to explore jelly printing on fabric a little more in the future, for sure. Come on. There we are. Yeah, let's make it a little dark. Let's stand out a little bit. Just a little bit, just a tad. I'm always thrilled to learn what people create, even if especially if it's not art, that's okay. Bring it. Create and make what you need to make to feel good, to feel whole, to remember your strength and honor your journey. Make meaning in whatever way feels right to you. All right, here goes. No idea if this will be centered or not. Winging this. Did I forget to take off the heart again? I did. Oh, wait, no, it worked. Okay, good. Always helps to wrap up things on a little bit of a panic note, I find. But if you're going to panic about something, art, I think, is an okay thing to panic about. Because even the mistakes are something that can be used for creative transformation. All right, so let's see how this looks. Oh, I like it. So interesting. So there we go. So some jelly printing. And the very last moment getting into jelly printing on fabric. Wow, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your patience and hanging out with me, even though I was a little late today. Let's see if I can show you a close-up on that piece. There we go. Something special, something a little different. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where printing on fabric will take me. Maybe we'll do that another time. Well, I think we absolutely will do that another time. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for just being such an extraordinary community for one another, no matter where you live. Because when I talk about community here, you know I'm talking about the creative community that is all of us. The creative community that has an opportunity now to connect online and be there for one another in ways we never really anticipated before. Thank you so much. Thank you for your strength, for your resiliency, for your vulnerability, for your care, for your heart, for your art, for your voice. Thank you so much. And keep creating, keep connecting, keep reaching out, keep asking for what you need. You never know. You never know unless you ask, right? We've got wonderful folks out there who are willing to share, willing to be safely there for you in these strange and uncertain times. And this is, I think we need to remember those things, especially in those moments where things begin to feel shaky and weird and a little bit scary again. We're all still here. So let's find ways to remind one another that we're not alone. Even if we're on our own, we are not alone. So thanks so much for hanging out and making art with me. check in and, go through the chat and look at those resources. If there are folks out there who you want to reach out to and connect with to see what they have to offer, to share, how they might be a resource to you, don't be shy. And if we, of course, stumble upon any resources that we can share, we will. I'm going to put a show and tell post up afterwards as well, so folks can share more things about the artists that inspire them, that drive them to create in wonderful ways, to learn about new things in wonderful ways. Yeah, I'm just so very appreciative of everyone who's here in all the ways. And what's that? I suppose that's enough for today, right? Yeah, I've had lots of fun doing this, making services, and my little studio is an absolute disaster. So after I take Alice for a walk, I think I'm definitely going to come back here and do a little tidy to take care of my fabulous mess. But in the meantime, have a wonderful, safe day, everyone. We'll be back next week right here for another pop-up art studio. And of course, there's another live stream this Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. And if you're available during the day and you want to come out and read or appreciate some poetry, some spoken word performances, even if they're just work in progresses, please feel free to join us at 11 a.m. Followed up in the afternoon, it's a day full of art, 1 p.m. with Maddie for the last workshop in the lyrical wall art workshop. So you can still join even if you haven't participated in any of the other workshops. Just bring a prepared canvas and a favorite song or lyric that you want to apply to it. And look, we have, a lovely comment again. Carlos wrapping things up on the best of notes. This has been such a lovely space. Thanks so much for this. And thanks to everyone that's been here too. Carlos says, I've been a bit background today, but I've loved hearing your experiences. Thanks for sharing that. You're all utterly awesome. I agree. Stay kind. Hope you all have a safe week. Stay kind to yourselves and stay excellent to each other. Have a good one. You too, Mary. I will. I'll try. Love to you all. Please take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And until we can connect and create with one another in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you right here online. So see you soon, folks. Bye.